So Menterra was, at least the concept of Menterra was born in my mind, very first investment job, where one of my mentors asked me this question that it's a cliched conversation, but it was very moving conversation for me, where he said, 10 years from now, what would you consider success? What do you think you will be doing? And I was surprised how quick I was with that response. I didn't have to think. I told him that, I would be running a fund in India, which will be solving issues in education and healthcare. And he asked me, he said that, can you give it more thought? This is very impulsive. This is not impulsive, what I want to do. And he said, why don't we have that conversation again tomorrow? And next day, I still remember I have that chart with me, PowerPoint, where I drew, you know, what kind of a business I would be running, what issues in education, what issues in healthcare, what will it look like, all of that. And I gave him a structure, and he said, you were not only just imagining, you have got the detail around it. But I said, yes. And then he said, then why are you in Dubai? And what are you doing here? And I said that, look, I know nothing about investing. Nobody knows me who will give me money to do it. So I think that's when the thought and the concept was born. When I came to India, I thought 8 years of investing and all, now people will trust me. I have CFA, I have CA, I have done investing, but people ask me that, what do you know about this? You've never invested. And, you worked in investing, but you were not taking decisions. Someone else was taking. You didn't raise money, right? So many of the things that you need to do in investing, I had not done. It was a fair question. So nobody wanted to give me. And I worked in Villgro, which was an incubator, and I met with a couple of colleagues. One of them told me that, I was still an advisor, and he said, what will it take for you to do this full time? I said, I want to do a fund. And, someone gives me money, I become full time. And then he said that, why don't you join me full time? And I give you a commitment in 2 years' time, I'll raise money for you. And through my network, we'll do it together. And then on the basis of performance, maybe you get more money. And it was very credible, genuine offer that he made. And I told him yes, then and there. Then we started it, and he lived his side of the bargain, helped me raise money. And that's how our first fund started.
It's such a beautiful case, Mukesh, of just being pure in your intention and just pursuing that. And the universe has a way of you meeting the right people at the right time for things to start growing. So, do you think that's how it happened with you? Or were you very clear that, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about till I find somebody who trusts me?
Not talk about, I actually meant it, right? So I was not only talking about it, I wanted to do it. And I was seeking people who would help me do it.
Yeah.
And
But how did you choose the people you're going to talk to?
it was all accidental. I still remember that, there was a recruiter who reached out to me, founder of Villgro, was looking for someone who had investment background who could do this. Because till then they were receiving grants, giving grants. So, discipline of investing, discipline of business, how do you bring it together? So he was looking for someone, and the recruiter called me saying that, would you want to work for this not-for-profit? And they were talking about poverty alleviation, base of pyramid. And I didn't understand base of pyramid. I didn't understand poverty alleviation. I said no to her. And she called me a couple of times saying that, why don't you just go and meet him in Chennai? They will sponsor your flight ticket and all. Why don't you just go and meet him? I was sitting, and, my wife asked me this question, that what do you have to lose? They are sponsoring your ticket. Just go and meet him. And I said, look, Chennai, and, this is not making sense to me. I want to run a fund, and this is something else. And when she asked me, what do you have to lose? You're just sitting here free, figuring out what to do with life. Just go and meet him. And then I said, yeah, I've got nothing to do. So I went there, and I spent a day with him. And at the end of the day, I still reached the conclusion I didn't want to. I told him, we can't. You are talking about, running some philanthropic organization, poverty alleviation program that doesn't align with my investment, because I want to use the power. I was not thinking about base of the pyramid and poor and how to help them. I was thinking about issues in education. for middle class, lower middle class. I didn't have vocabulary for it, but it seemed like by that time working in, very capitalist world, you thought about, this colleague of mine grew up in Kerala, and you could see all the socialist thinking there, right? So I was thinking these binaries, that he's thinking socialistic, I'm thinking capitalistic, never going to. And he called me 15 days later in a very humble way. He said, can you, walk outside of these ideological boxes you have created? And he said, you think that capitalism works? And this was 2 years after 2008, right? So he said, you guys almost brought the whole world down. So just trying to make more money from the money. So why don't you use that money to do something good? And I'm not asking you to do philanthropy. Just figure out how to do the fund, but figure it out with. I was still very circumspect, and he said, why don't you give me 15 days of time for 6 months? And in this 15 days, you'll not ask me any question. Whatever tasks I give you, just do it. At the end of 6 months, you tell me, did you like it enough? And that's how it started. It was him pushing me. It was, creating conditions where, my doubts didn't come in the way. I didn't have to make a full-time commitment. And I think those 6 months, I met enough entrepreneurs. I met enough people who were solving meaningful problems where I thought, okay, this is not too far from the fund that I wanted. This was not exactly that, but not too far. There is a way to really figure it out. That's so again, I don't think I would like to take the credit that I found the person. It was again universe conspiring to put me in the right place.